Good evening, and welcome to the Zen State, a division of the Kolat Information Network covering all things flesh and blood. So this week at Gen Con, we had spoilers for the First Strike decks. um, while I am a ninja at heart, Runeblade is sort of my second class. Um, and so I was very interested to find out um, what um, Aurora looked like. And so I think it's pretty cool that the entire deck list were spoiled before the event, before the release, even though the general public can't buy these until the 23rd of August. So Aurora's ability is pretty simple. Um, she has an ability, once per turn instant, pay 2, creating a embodiment of lightning token, activate this only if you played a lightning card this turn, 4 intellect and 20 health. Essence of Lightning, so she can only play, she may play lightning cards in her deck. One of the things that I did like about these decks is they did include a reprint of Blossom of Spring, which, to be fair, in most another cheap version of some of the fast resource cards that you would need in Blitz. The new piece of equipment, this is a Runeblade equipment, Aether Crackers. If that doesn't tell you I'm white, then then it doesn't tell you I'm white. But when you attack, when an attack you control hits a hero, you may destroy this. If you do, deal 1 arcane damage to them. So this is very similar to another piece of equipment, which I think it's actually under. I think it's an elemental equipment, but from Tails. Another way to push through some random damage. Now, this first of all, the piece of artwork on this is gorgeous. I absolutely love this lightning Runeblade weapon, which, if you want my honest opinion, Rosetta should have been an Earth Runeblade weapon. That way, it didn't completely ruin the rest of the format. And I like Briar. Don't get me wrong. I loved playing Briar. But all they had to do was put the word, either light, in that case, Earth or Elemental or whatever, to stop the craziness of it. But Starfall is once per turn action, pay 1 attack. If you play a lightning card this turn, this card's attack gets +1 and gains go again. So this teaches, between this and Aurora, this teaches sequencing, which is obviously very important in Flesh and Blood, particularly for new players. So I actually like that it is, you play a lightning card, you can attack with the sword, then if you have the remaining resources, you can activate Aurora, make your embodiment of lightning token for the next turn, arsenal, and then pass. So it teaches you the correct sequencing. Now there's a lot of new cards here, and there are some reprints. I'm going to assume that the cards listed in here that are new are going to be in Rosetta. I'm not obviously that is that's an interesting take, and you may not agree with me on that, but I believe that's going to be the case. So we have the red-yellow line of crackling, 0 for 3 attack with three defense. Lightning flow. If you play a lightning card this turn, this gets +1. Now, I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful change. Let me see if I can get to. Bring up one of the cards. So, in Tales of Aria, we had fusing, which meant when you played a card, you had to reveal a card of the matching element in your hand. Um, this had to be done after paying costs. That made it difficult to trigger its additional effect. It also made it slightly more complicated for a new player. And I know that there were a lot of people, if they didn't join during Monarch, they joined during Tales. And there were some people that just that couldn't wrap their heads around it. I understand. Um, I think this design change of lightning flow, which means they have it's seen a lightning card previously. This gets a bonus because you've played one already. Is a much better and much easier item to understand. Um, so this is essentially, if sequenced correctly, a 0 for 4 and a 0 for 3. Again, this does not have go again, but again, that goes back to proper sequencing, where you can have this um, on the table before you play that particular card, or maybe you save it for the next turn. That's the last thing you do on your turn. Your next turn starts, and you play something that normally doesn't have go again. Fry is also a new card. Now this is very interesting. So Fry, the red is 0 for 3, and the Fry yellow is 0 for 2. This is the first card that I can recall that instead of having a no block value here, or this box being empty, has a 0. Now I don't know if this was intentional because this is a learn to play product, um, but it it does make you look down there and check. Um, Something else that I think is a nice change is lightning cards have the lightning bolt in the text box as an image so that you can tell just glancing at your hand this is a lightning attack, whereas crackling is an elemental runeblade attack action. Um, so this lets you identify that you need to play this before you can play this and get a bonus. Now, Harness Lightning. Um, this is both in red and yellow. It's a 0 cost elemental runeblade action that blocks for 2 and has lightning flow. If you played a lightning card this turn, deal 3 arcane damage to target hero. Alright. So, probably gonna have to pull up another window here. Bear with me just a second. Thought I had all these ready, and I didn't. So bring up fusing. So we had this card from Tales of Aria, Inspire Lightning. This is an Elemental Runeblade action, blocks for 2, costs 1, Lightning Fusion. If Inspire Lightning was fused, deal 3 arcane damage to target hero. So we have corrected the problem with Inspire Lightning. Number 1, you have decreased its cost from 1 to 0. And problem number 2 is you have to lightning fuse it to get it to work. This is another reason why I think Lightning Flow, as sort of a subgenre or a sub-classification, works so much better here, both in the introductory product as well as hopefully also in the set of Rosetta, because there's less things for you to check. You played lightning this turn? Yeah, then this triggers. And of course it deals 2 for the yellow. Now, you'll notice that it's brought up Heaven's Claws here. Let me see if I can bring up the original version. And of course it's going to bring up the other version. Because reasons. Dang it. Oh yeah, because we only have so many scans. But anyway, again, Heaven's Claws in this set in both red and yellow. It's bringing up the version from Tales, but it is watermarked. So you have the 1 for 5 with a 3 block for red, and 1 for 4 with a 3 block for yellow. We also have Lightning Surge, which again is also has the lightning symbol in this starter deck. But I believe it, from what we've seen from Rosetta, we've seen this is also on Rosetta cards. So these are 0 for 4s for the red, 0 for 3 for the yellow, both block 2. If it was played from Arsenal, it gains Go Again, so this teaches you that, hey, this card's better if you put it in your arsenal. Let's set this up to be the last card in your hand. You put it in your arsenal. The start of your at the end of your turn, before you draw up, so you're ready for the next turn. All right, Photon Rush. So in this one, you have Photon Rush is a Elemental Runeblade action. The red is a 0 for 3 with 3 defense, and if you played a lightning card this turn, this gains Go Again. And then you also have the blue, which is a 0 for 1, and with the same ability. Now, I'm not a big fan of the 0 for 3s. You want the basic breakpoints in Flesh and Blood. Typically, you want an attack that will deal 4 damage, 7 damage. Those are the two major breakpoints, because a 4 damage card, they can't block it with just a 3 block. That won't stop it. And a 7 attack, they can't block with two cards with 3 defense. So that makes a big difference. Now you're pushing into, I have to block the 4 attack card with two blocks, or the 7, you've got to block it with a 3 and 2 2s, or so you're having to block it with an additional card which completely throws off your turn. Um, so I don't know how much play these will see. Now, if this gets unbanned, which there's no way, there is zero chance of this card getting unbanned. But this card was an absolute buster in Tails, so I don't see that ever happening. But um, you know, the cheeky Runeblade player in me wants it to happen. It's just not going to. But yeah, these are going to be less playable to me. Now let's talk about Sizzle. I'm going to go back down to Weave Lightning as well. So Sizzle is a zero cost lightning action. Your next lightning or elemental attack this turn gains +3 attack, go again, and it defends for 2. Alright, so there's a little bit of difference between Sizzle and Weave Lightning. Sizzle is just a pump. There's no additional way to give the next attack action, go again. But there is a small difference. You'll notice this says lightning or elemental attack action, while Sizzle says lightning or elemental attack. So they have done a very nice job of noting that you can play this, then play Starfall. So now Starfall gets a +3 bonus, the +1 and go again bonus, because you played a lightning card. So now the Starfall, for 1 resource, is attacking for 5. So they have made not a better card, but I am quite happy that this is just an attack and not an attack action, because it leads more into, hey, I can stack with my weapon. Again, another little subtle change that's very nice. Alright, Static Shock. Elemental Runeblade attack action. The red is a 0 for 4. The yellow is a 0 for 3. It has 3 defense. When this hits a hero, if you played a lightning card this turn, deal 1 arcane damage to it. Now, this piece of art is chef's kiss beautiful. So let's look at, and I may have to go to, yep, I have to roll this back. So in Tails, this is the parallel card with Arcane Shockwave. Same stats, same ability. The difference is Lightning Fusion. So you had to reveal that card instead of playing that card. Neither of these had go again. They both have 3 defense. But for my point, this is easier to understand and execute, because this just requires you to play the lightning card first, whether it's in front of this one or the first action of the turn, whatever. And so again, this is a cleaner and better design. Now this is interesting. So this is a lightning instant, cloud cover, cost 0. The next time you would be dealt damage this turn, prevent 2 of the damage. So they've only included a yellow here. It's very possible that this card is also in Rosetta, and so the red would prevent 3, and the blue would prevent 1 if that's the case. This would allow for the interesting ability, if necessary, to be able to play this to prevent damage from your opponent, particularly in limited, where we're having to prevent damage from rune blades and wizards on your opponent's turn. then be able to make an embodiment of lightning token on their turn because, hey, maybe my hand doesn't look that great and it may not be worth me trying to do too much on my turn. We can be prepared. But I have a feeling this is in the base. It is going to be in Rosetta as well. This is another one that has me believing that it's also going to be in Rosetta. Spark Spray. So it comes in yellow and blue here. The yellow is a 0 for 3 with 2 defense, and the blue is a 0 for 2 with 2 defense. But it has an ability. When this is defended by one or more cards, you may pay 1. If you do, this gets +1. Now, if this is in the main set, and the red is a 0 for 4, that you can then push to 5. I dare say we'll probably see the red one played, and possibly the yellow. But I like this being able to make your opponent think, okay, do I just want to take the 3? Do I want to overblock it for 4 so that they can't do, you know, it would be a waste to push it up by 1. There's a lot of interaction and thought-provoking things with this card. And then, hey, look what I found. It's Lightning Press. Which also has the lightning symbol. That's the reason I'm pulling this page back up. I also like the reminder text on this. So obviously this is the blue. So target attack action card with cost 1 or less gets +1, and it has, you can play this card after your opponent has decided how to defend, which is very important. I like that they put this reminder text here. Again, very very nice what they've done with the introductory product. Obviously, this is the embodiment of lightning token. Same one for us old hats. Same one we had from Tales of Aria. Text is the same. I like the rules text here. Are stay in the arena until they're destroyed. But then they also have put a copy of Spellfray Tiara and Spellfray Leggings in the deck. Now, by default, this is your equipment suite: head, chest, arms, and legs. When you play against Terra, you should use the default. But I like the fact that they have included the tiara and the leggings, because it will teach it teaches you that if you're playing against the other deck with Aurora, you're going to be dealing with arcane damage, and so you will probably want to swap these out. So it teaches you that next level of thinking, which is nice because most of the blitz decks don't teach you that. All in all, I think this is a great product to start a player down the road of Flesh and Blood. But I also think that even experienced players would want to pick up a copy of this, particularly because it'll give you access to cards that aren't legal or aren't currently legal in before we get to Rosetta. I do believe that every card that you see here that was not already a reprint will be in Rosetta. You heard it here first. I do want to mention one other thing before I go. There was an interesting spoiler um, that was floated around with lightning form. Uh, this happened probably a few days before the release of the decks. I thought this was going to end up being in the deck, and it's not. But you can tell that this is has a Rosetta number, and I love the fact that we have lightning form. That's a a 1 for 5 with 2 defense. That if this hits, you get an embodiment of lightning token. This is a fantastic chain ender where you can end your turn with an embodiment of lightning, and when you come back around on your next turn, you can sequence where you can start with something that doesn't have go again and use the embodiment to give it go again, and then chain into more of your go again attacks. And I think both the red and the yellow will see play as they both hit breakpoints. All right, so that is it for this episode. Tell me what you like and don't like about the Aurora First Strike deck. And tell me if you're going to pick up one of these Aurora decks, either for your own collection or to teach new players with. Until next time, no matter the game, there is no escape from the tiger.